What's new since the last time I saw you?
What'd you say? What's the news?
What's new? Yeah.
In my life or the
Yeah.
world?
No, your life or the world, both. I don't
Are
care.
we rolling?
Yeah, we're
alright,
going.
You
I think so.
sneaky little guy.
Yep, I got you.
I don't know. I was reading about funerals today. I was wondering if you've ever been to a funeral.
Yes, multiple. Yeah.
Like open casket viewing kind of situation?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The second one I was at, I did not see the. It was not open casket because I actually saw the guy die. And he was my neighbor. He was my neighbor's dad.
Okay.
And I was at my house, and he was like chopping wood down and whatever. I probably told you the story before.
I've never heard this story before.
And a tree like kicked and hit him right in the head, and he was just seizing out. So he called my mom, and then I went up there because my mom wasn't home.
Mm-hmm.
So I went up there to like help him, like get him out of the woods before like get the ambulance there and everything like that. And this guy was just like, I mean, like if you can imagine, just like being smacked in the head with it's like a 3-ton. How heavy are trees? Like a huge.
They have to
tree.
be around I would imagine.
And the
a ton.
force of it just being like gravity, just coming and just clocking your head. I mean, just smacking his head, and he was just like not knowing where he was, seizing out.
That's terrifying.
And we got him in the ambulance. And the thing about ambulance people, like I never get, they're always so nonchalant. And they act like everything is a paper scratch, and I'm like, I'm sorry guys, we should probably be a little bit more like, this guy might die.
Well, I think they see it every day.
Yes, but like also it's like they don't care about the life at all. It feels like it's like, guys, your
They're
job is to save
there.
people,
Yeah.
and you're just like meh, it's another Monday.
Like crunching the numbers.
It's like a case of the Monday. It's like whatever.
Yeah, they're kind of crazy. Like I think I respect that though, just like being cold under pressure, you know?
Yeah,
That's what I would want. I wouldn't want some guy to be like, you get there and then they start freaking out. Like,
well, I would want somebody
that would
like
suck.
super like composed, but being like, yo, get him this, do this, let's go. Like what I mean by like the efficiency of being like let's go, get this guy,
right.
like get this person
Chop,
to the
chop.
hospital, and it was like very like, all right, let's just take our time.
Mm-hmm.
And like apparently is what I heard. He told my mom or whatever that the son, so the one that was there when we watched
Also,
him.
dude, that's crazy.
So he watched his.
Wait,
father.
you saw him get hit by the tree?
No, I came up for the aftermath
Oh
of the
my God.
tree. So I was there probably like 5-10 minutes, like literally right after it. And this guy was just like bleeding and just like, I'll never forget like when they were putting him in the ambulance where he was like, he didn't know what was going on, but didn't want, like you could still tell there was like a brain working, and he was like confused, but also didn't like want to be in, like, so he was like freaking out while he was strapped to the gurney or whatever it's called.
Oh, like he just didn't know where he was?
Yeah, and he was just, and I remember that the son was like, Dad, like, stop, like, Dad, like, trying to get him to calm down. But, like, he probably, like, couldn't see, probably blood in it, like, he, like, could you imagine, you were probably just, like...
He probably got reverted back to, like, a chimpanzee, like a caveman, just
Dude, literally. Have you ever been concussed before?
I don't...
Like, just got smacked in the head, like, so hard where you're just like, oh my God, like, you just forget
Not
stuff.
that bad. I just dinged my head at work the other day.
Oh my God.
And like, my ears were ringing.
What
for a little
happened?
bit. I hit my head on a beam, like a steel beam.
You were just walking?
No, there was I had to do something here, and the
Uh-huh.
beam was there, and I did this here, and I swung around and just fucking dinged it. And I was like, I got down on one knee, I was like, oh my God. There was blood coming down my forehead. And I was just like, Jesus Christ, like my ears were ringing a little bit.
Should've got, what's that called, workers' comp, or
I didn't report that. Yeah,
Did
no.
you report it?
No, fuck that. I didn't
No.
want to get in trouble. But, no, so would you say that, this is a good story. I'm enjoying it. Would you say that, Return of the Jedi is accurate then?
So what scene are you talking about?
When they're on, Endor and the logs, they come down and they smash into
the guy?
the walker. I think that's accurate, right?
Probably,
Imagine
dude.
like two fucking giant
Just
logs
smashing together. Yeah,
pancaking.
those are probably like even bigger trees than the one that he got hit with too. So those are probably like redwood trees that they filmed that with. So probably would just destroy it.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah, but so you've never really got like shaken up with your head like cracked before,
No,
other
not,
than
not,
yesterday.
not that. No, not that bad. No.
But yeah, I there was one time you probably know him, Sam or whatever, wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
and I like did an illegal move on him. We were doing like mat returns, so it's like where you pick somebody up and you slam them on the ground.
Right.
And I accidentally closed both his hands in, and you can't do that because it's like super dangerous. You can't like catch your fall at all.
What's the danger of that?
What's the danger of that?
Yeah.
You're, like, imagine falling, but like your hands are tied, so
you can't brace at all.
So you're just like,
you're just in for the ride.
So I took him up and I did a solid mat return, threw the hip into it, and he just went basically, you're standing straight up, and then your head just goes whoop, and you just go, and your head cracked. I mean, I smacked him off the mat, and it was just practice, but I felt so bad
I would
because
feel terrible.
Immediately after, didn't know where he was.
Really?
Gave him a concussion. I think it was his 4th concussion he's ever had or something like that. He didn't know where he was, didn't know the president, didn't know how to spell his name, didn't know the date, didn't know his birthday.
That's crazy.
Dude, and that was like nuts. And I was like, if that's like how easy it is to just completely like wipe your memory.
Just scary.
Just be like
just a hard reset.
Yeah, factory reset on your Apple phone. Just like boom, like back to day one. But I was just thinking like a tree would probably knock you back a couple centuries. like you're saying back into chimpanzee mode, but like evolution just didn't work anymore. It's just like boom. But
you start whipping shit at people.
But I just couldn't imagine. I've never gotten a concussion, so I don't even know what it feels like.
Me.
I've only been around. The thing is, I don't know either. Like I feel like I could have totally gotten a concussion and then just like, oh, whatever.
Right.
Like walked it off or whatever and just pretended. I remember one time I got hit playing football when I was really young and everything flashed white like it was a movie. And I was like,
really?
And my ears were ringing. It was like basically like literally straight out of a movie scene where like a big explosion happens, the aftermath, and you're like...
It's like Saving Private Ryan?
Yeah, it was like that. Like I got my head smacked.
Jesus.
And I just remember being like... And just be like, oh. And then a couple seconds later, the ringing went away, and my vision came back, and I was like, all right, back to normal, and just continued the rest of the practice. But I was
You don't think that had a lasting effect on you?
I don't know. People say that. I do think that it probably makes you a little bit more reckless. I think there's like a correlation between people who have had head injuries and like recklessness.
Recklessness, yeah.
Yeah, like the decisions that they make. I'm sure that it probably has some sort of an effect. But my whole life I was kind of just reckless with my brothers, being raised with all dudes, so we were kind of smacking each other around for a while. So
everything was like WWE.
Yeah,
back in the day. Man.
Yeah, so it was probably a little combination of that and just being used to it. But I don't know if I could be like, yep, I remember my complete shift of when I hit my head back in 2008 where I turned into a weirdo. But
so that guy that got Return of the Jedi, did you see him? So you went to his funeral?
Yes, I did. Yes, Return of the Jedi. That was a great term. Yes, the guy who got Return of the Jedi. Yes, correct.
You went to his funeral. What was that like?
It was honestly, I actually never talked about this with anybody, but it was really cool.
I feel special now.
In the sense of like, I never like expressed how I thought like it made me think about my own life of like how I would want my funeral. This guy's funeral was so cool because like so many people showed up, right? Mm-hmm. So it was like awesome. I was like, so like he touched so many people's lives or whatever. But like the fact that like the photos of him, like he was like a wild child. Mm-hmm. He was like going across America on his motorcycle, his like leather on with his biker club, like and just like him doing like I just remember being like looking through somebody's life because I didn't know the guy too personally. Like I've seen him, talked to him before. Like like I've like shook his hand. Like I've
just your neighbor.
Yeah, I've met him. You know, like constantly like chit chat, small talk. Right. So, but I wasn't to the level of like, oh, I know everything about this guy. Or, like I've seen his life. Like to where some people you know how like their whole life is. So I had like I had an idea of like who he was. Like I thought he was like a straight cut guy. He was in the military. Right. I knew that about him. But then when I saw his like photos, like the collage of just like
his history,
his life, and I was like, it was like so cool because like as I was looking at it, I was like, this guy, like you could tell that he like lived.
Right.
Like you're like, this guy was everywhere and did anything. He had a beer in his hand, a photo. He was like having like most
just
of the time he was
adventurous guy.
Adventure, and it was like so cool, and I was like, wow, that is so neat because I was just like if I were to die, like what photos? I was thinking like what photos would be put or whatever of me, and I was thinking, I was like if I would die, I would want that to be like the like adventures of like and also like the people. Like I just thought that I was like a way to look at like your own life of being like, oh, I'm gonna die or whatever, but like how would I want my impact to be like set in stone or whatever.
Like how you want people to remember you.
Remember, but also like what you. I guess it's like that stupid word of a legacy, but like that guy's legacy was just like a wild child, like, but also a family man. It was just like a cool. Like, it was really wow, cool. That was a cool guy. Like that was a really cool guy, and it's sad that it happened like that. But
I've never even thought of that before. Like what are people gonna be saying when I'm like in the casket?
I remember when like what stories would people tell or like what.
Dude.
And and it was just it was cool. It was sad though to see like everybody just like how like the damage on the family too of like who they're just like, oh my god, like the son that I saw like that was there when it happened. Like,
he's probably torn up.
Dude, the rest of his life he's gonna think, why did I have to cut those trees?
That's
like,
crazy.
Why did I do that?
He's going paperless.
Yeah.
From here on out, man.
He'll never cut a tree. I would never cut a tree down again.
I'd be skittish about it.
Would you?
I saw a video of a guy getting his head like crushed by like a bus.
Oh my god.
And I got scared of like buses for like a little while. I could imagine like
the one that I saw that like really was twisted or whatever. I think we were talking about the cartel stuff earlier, but the one I saw on Instagram a couple days ago was a guy getting crushed by an elephant. And I was like, that was hard to watch. Like, he was folded up like a lawn chair. Like, there was no bones in his body.
Like Space Jam?
Yeah.
Put him in a basketball?
And then, like, the elephant picked him up with his long snout or whatever after he's done stomping him into the ground. After, like, it was like a cartoon where, like, the imprint, like, when you just get thrown through and the cut out of the body is there. It was like that. He picks him up through the imprint. You see his body imprint through it.
Oh, jeez.
But then when he tosses his body, it was just like a wet noodle.
Like skin?
There was yes. It was like a hollow, and I was like, oh my god. And then the end of the video, this other Indian guy who is like trying to train this elephant, I guess, or whatever, probably torturing this poor elephant, because like, why would this elephant just be like, this guy with this stick, I'm gonna snap his whole body? But then this other guy runs in, and he's like smacking him with a stick to try to like hey, stop it or whatever. It's like, dude, the deed's already done. He just crushed that guy. But also, the nerve of you to be like, I just saw this man get crushed by this elephant. I got it. Let me handle this.
He's not going to be causing us any more trouble from here on out. Believe me.
It was just that was a nuts video.
The funeral thing, though, I want to go back to that, because I had an initial question. Was it like an open casket? Did you get to see his body or not?
My paps was.
Okay. When you got to the there was a viewing, right? Like, people got to see the body?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you go up there, have your moment, yep.
That's weird, right? When you look at the body and it's like, it's the person, but it doesn't have the soul.
Yeah, I was,
That weirded me out.
I was pretty young when it happened with my pap, but I was really close with him. He was like a real father to me.
Mm-hmm.
He took the father role of Greg, basically, when he was methed out.
A little bit, yeah.
So he was like I feel like that was the actual equivalent of like watching your father die, because he was actually there like raising me and my brothers and stuff like that when Greg was not.
Thank you.
And I remember as a kid being super sad or whatever, but like I remember looking at his body and thinking he was like, and I knew he wasn't napping or sleeping, but I remember being like, he can wake up at any second. Like, he should just get up.
Really?
Like, I remember being like...
Get up,
like, because I was like... And maybe it's like, great job to the, what are those people called?
Oh.
The embalming bomber or whatever. Yeah. But, great job to them, because he looked alive. He looked like he was napping, and I just wanted to shake him awake. He just looked like he was taking a cat nap.
That's weird. My first funeral was like a year and a half ago, or two... It was like 2 years ago. Where it's like a open casket, the whole situation, view the body. And I got around to, it was my girlfriend's uncle. And we got around to him, and I was like, this is just weird. Like, it almost looked like a wax figure.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like it's not them, but it is them.
Yeah, you can tell that there's something missing.
Yeah.
But you also are like, this is so close. It's so close.
Yeah, it's really weird, and you're like, there's definitely. It makes you believe in a soul way more than...
Because you can feel, like, I don't know if it's, like, something in our brains to help us, the evolutionary concept to understand people dying, but there's something that, like, happens, like, you can feel when you're, like, he's not gonna wake up.
Yeah, it's like the husk. It's just a husk. Like there's nothing in the body.
It's a shell, and it's like weird because it's like I know that there's nothing in here anymore. But it's like you look like that person that I.
So weird.
Like it's like it's like you. I remember this person, this face. Is it forever engraved in my brain, doing the things that I remember, but you can't right now. Like it's done. Like it's like that connection. It's just like unplugging your phone, and it's like the phone's dead.
That creeps me out.
It is so creepy, but it is like one of the weirdest feelings I feel like for sure. I feel like people can have in their life. It's just being like, oh, like.
Viewing a dead person.
Yeah, just looking at a dead person.
Especially I guess if you're a kid, you don't really get it, because you were like, yeah, dude, just get up.
Yeah, well, I was old enough to get it, but I was more of the concept of like I knew he was dead. Like it wasn't I wasn't like too young to I understood the concept. I think I was like a teenager when I say I was like 12, 13 maybe, if that. So like I was old enough. Yeah. I was old enough to understand, but I was just saying that like that's what it felt like. It was like. I did, and it was also probably me holding on in denial of being like, dude, just get up. Yeah. Just get up. Like, why are you doing it? Like, yeah, so like I knew that he was gone or whatever, and that's why it felt like even weirder. Like, it's just like, dude, just fuck it. Like, wake up. Like, wake up. Like, but yeah, it is this a weird feeling. Just a wax figurine, basically. The whole process of us, I also wanted to, like, why do we bury people?
That's weird. It is weird.
Like, why is that the tradition?
Well, what's the alternative?
Cremation. I always say this, like, if I would want to die, I want, like, somebody to be like, I'd rather just have my brothers or whatever, my family. It'd probably be hard for people to see it, but I would leave it on my brothers or whatever, if they were still alive or whatever. To just drag my body out there and just let, like, coyotes eat me, maggots, flies. Just, I want to decompose.
Right, like, what's the... Because you're going to get to the same spot eventually.
Yeah, but also it's like the process of like chemicals in your body. It's like, dude, I took so much from this planet. Like I've killed, I've eaten, I've like all the fruit, the food, the animals. It's like, dude, give me this one thing to be like, let me just like have at my body.
We go through so much effort to make us look like we're alive and sleeping when we're dead and no one else is going to see us.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Yes, forever. Just like, boom, close that. But when you throw the dirt on, it's like, you will never be opened ever again.
Pump me full of formaldehyde.
Yeah.
Pull my skin back, make me look younger.
Do you know what formaldehyde is? I don't even know, because they suck the blood out of you, right? They take all the blood out, and then they pump this, like, weird... It is formaldehyde, like, and they fill you up, but what is it? Like, it's just like a...
It's like a preservative.
But why? Why preserve a human being that's just... It's the last second you're going to see them, or whatever, and then they're just going to decompose for centuries. It makes it harder to decompose, too, right? Like, because they're...
Exactly, you're preserving this body that has no use. It has no function anymore.
I honestly, I think I prefer cremation over...
I think so, too.
Over, like, a burial part. Like, the whole, like... Just because it's, like... In some way, you could just immediately see that, like, you're just being like, oh, like, I'll put it in this garden, put it in the ocean, give it right back. Yeah. But, like, I don't know why, but I have this weird feeling of, like, we're, like, being super, like, possessive of, like, of our, I'm not even gonna say, like, not ignorant, but, like, greedy, I guess. It's like, we just refuse to be, like, have, like, it's like, we're done with the body, just have at it, you know, like, back to the plant, like, here's Mother Nature. Greedy. And I don't know if that's just me being, like, you know, granola, but,
I mean, I don't know. Do you think, like, a person who's a vegetable, still alive, but no function of the brain, do you think it's the same situation?
That's a hard one. What do you mean by the same, like what are you comparing it to?
If you are a vegetable, you're alive, but you're not living. You're functionally dead. Is that the same thing? Is your soul still active in that situation?
Yeah, that's weird. That's okay.
What do you think? You're a religious man.
That's weird. Like to think about. Actually, I do think that like I would never be like, oh, pull the plug or whatever. But it is like a weird thing that like
you wouldn't.
I'd want the person. I'd give that person every opportunity to wake the hell up. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I would.
What if they?
Like I'd be so mad if I was like, dude, just give me 3 more weeks. Just give me 3 more weeks.
A couple more days.
I know, but like people have been in comas for centuries.
And then wake up.
And that's probably even harder. Like imagine like coming back to life after 15 years. Your wife left you, had a family with another, like, and then everybody's dead that you knew, or like your life is, you lost your job, everything has changed. There's no more money in your bank account.
I wonder what the longest coma was. Imagine getting a coma at 15 and then waking up at 50. I would kill myself.
I saw this
I
video.
would kill myself. I had soccer practice the other day.
I saw this video on YouTube where they did this prank on this guy where he like took a nap, and they built a studio around him to where he was in a hospital bed. And then they like put on like old suits and like they like went all out or whatever. I hope it was real. I hope the prank was real. Yeah. It felt real.
Sounds genius.
Dude, the funny and then like the doctor came in and literally he woke up from his nap, and then he was like,
"Get me a mirror."
And it was like so fun. I think they put like a fake beard. I don't even remember. It was such a good video, but it was like they had paid actors like to be his kids grown up and stuff like that.
Oh my god.
And all his friends came in when they were really old. They're like people like so they had like fat suits on. Like, dude, I mean, like it was
That's
so
kind of fucked up.
It was.
If they sold it that well.
And like I mean, like they sold it for probably over an hour.
Really?
So he was like waking up and coming to terms with
he's
been in a coma for like 12 years or something like that.
That's an interesting experiment.
Yeah.
Not even as a prank, just like as an experiment.
To see what happens, yeah.
Yeah, be like, oh, we're gonna, like, trick someone into thinking they're going in for, like, wisdom tooth surgery, and then put him to sleep, and then wake him up in this whole fucking production of, like...
Dude, that would be nuts.
That's an interesting experiment.
Oh, what was I gonna say? I was gonna... Oh, shit, I lost my train of thought. I hate
Sorry.
that. No, you're good. You got me going, but yeah, I just back to your question or whatever. Is it still a soul? I feel like you would. I've never walked in front of a person with a coma, so I can't be like
right.
Feel though like what it's like. Oh, what it's like to see somebody dead or whatever. But I imagine a part of me wants to think that you would still be like attached and be like I know that they're like locked in there. Like I know that they're
still like active.
Yeah, like I would still be like trying to talk to the person. Like I would be like, because it's not like you can talk to the person when they're dead. Obviously, like you say things and you like pray or whatever. Like
right,
I don't
their
know
blood's still pumping and stuff.
Yeah, but like with a coma, you walk up there and be like, hey man, like this is what I did this weekend. Like like I can't wait for you to like wake up. We'll go do this. We'll have and because I would be just trying anything to be like I want this person to wake up.
Right,
like
just any sort of...
Like, if anything could trigger him, like
connection.
A memory, like a... just hearing a voice, like... Because you don't even know what... Also, it's like, there's, like, induced comas, right? So they induce comas. But then there's comas where they have no...
They just happen, and then it's like...
So, like, how do you, like... And they don't know how to, like, kick somebody out of that, right? Like...
No.
I wonder... I mean, obviously, they'd probably try... I would be crazy if they'd never tried this, but the smelling salts...
Oh,
do you know how like they do that when athletes get like knocked out?
I wonder if that would work.
Like if you're just like,
there's no way they haven't tried.
Yeah, right. You'd have to try.
Imagine if you were the guy that like
just solved it.
Give him some fucking smelling salts and pop a Zyn in his lip.
Or just been like some kind of crazy stimulant drug or something. Like just like shoot him up with like meth or something, or like some kind of crazy like.
If I was in a coma and they like were like. We ran out of fucking ideas, and someone was like, "Did you just give him some coke?"
Yeah, or dude, like also
work.
The EpiPens are adrenaline, right?
Yeah.
Like, why don't you just shoot him? I know we're just saying this out of. I'm sure everybody was like.
Just pure intellectual conjecture.
I'm sure it's been done. I can't imagine it hasn't.
No way.
But why does that not work? Like why is it like you are like you're in it? Like, and then you just all of a sudden you're like, and you just mosey out of it. Like, one day, like, just out of the blue. It's just so crazy to think about.
That is. You know what's weird, too? Like, when you're in a coma, I'm sure this happens a lot where your body stops operating, but, like, the fact that it still goes, like, it has that function of just breathing and, like, keeping your heart running.
It's nuts, yeah.
Even when you're not doing anything. Like, why is it that why... That's the real, like, you're doing that while you're not alive, technically.
Dude, well, I think it's, like, kind of like vision or, like, hearing. Like, I don't get to, like, choose what I hear. Like, I don't get to choose that I'm, like, looking at, like, that I see or whatever. Like, I can't just be like, I don't want to, like, hear. I don't want to see. Like, but also, one thing that I always wonder, like, when you're in a coma, when you're sleeping and you get just, like, morning woods and stuff like that, like, your body goes through, like, a cycle to, like, make sure everything works.
Yeah.
Like, would you just be getting, like, random hard-ons while you're in a coma? Like,
I've never thought of that before.
Or, like, when you come out of a coma, like, your dick probably has never got, like, your blood flow, like, you probably never had a hard-on for, like, years. So like, would it be? You know, you have to reteach yourself how to walk. You have to reteach yourself how to like get.
I couldn't imagine that.
Like, you know, like.
I feel like I feel like you wouldn't get boners.
No, you don't think so?
Because your heart. I assume that your heart is operating at such a low level.
Yeah.
That it can't afford to put blood to your penis.
Yeah.
It's like we need everything at the brain right now.
Yeah, it reminds me of Kill Bill or whatever.
Yeah.
That scene where he's like the Vaseline or whatever. Apparently they don't get wet, so that's probably. But also, I don't know if Quentin Tarantino just made that up or if that's a real thing.
He sounds like the kind of guy that thinks about that a lot.
Dude.
He's a freak.
He's a freak. Sick freak.
Love him though.
Yeah, well, how do you know? His movies are so good. Did he make 10 movies? Didn't he say he was only going to make 10 and that was going to be...
I feel like he'll make another.
Well, I know he's only on like 8 or 9, right? What was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I thought that was 10, but I don't know.
It depends what he counts too. Like, is only directing or is writing too? Because if it's like writing, I think he's over 10. Or
definitely over 10.
Yeah. Have you seen True Romance?
Who's in that?
Nobody notable.
Is it a Tarantino?
Yes, but it's so good. It's so good. It's one of his really, really early ones, and it's so good.
Is he in the movie? Like
I don't know if he does a cameo.
I know he did some acting.
The best acting he's ever done, in my opinion. He's probably underrated, but Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, he is actually really good in that.
So good in that. Like,
he plays
creepy good.
He plays a good creep.
Yes. That character would be so fun to play.
Yeah,
like, it would be so fun. Like, if I was him, I would totally be writing myself the most like fucked up roles
like, make
possible.
yourself a complete villain.
Yes, like also like the Sons of Anarchy guy. I don't know if you ever watched that TV show. Great TV show. But the writer of that like writes himself in it, but he just writes himself being like raped in prison, like the worst things possible.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, he's in the show?
He's in the show, but and like he'll have like these cameos and stuff. But like it's just like whenever you know he's on screen, you're like, oh, what's gonna happen? You're like, oh, this poor guy, and like the worst things possible. Like
I don't know if I'd write myself getting raped.
Dude, every day. I'm not even kidding. He wrote in every day. He's just like, also he bit off his own tongue so that he couldn't rat. So he literally just like on a table stuck his tongue out and just smashed it, and then literally.
That's fucking awful.
And then literally he's just like tied to a bed or whatever, and then you just see a door behind him slide open, and this huge, massive black guy just comes in prison, and it's just like, you know what time of day it is, or whatever he says, and then he's just like, and he can't talk.
This is in the show?
In the show, they show it, yeah.
What?
So he's just like, and he just wrote, like, could you, like, how screwed up you have to be like, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna write that for I want to play that character.
You think you could last in prison?
I'd never want to be there.
Do you think you could last?
Yeah, I know it's a different question. I
think I'd do great.
I'm trying to the attitude of me not wanting to be there would probably be like preyed upon, but I definitely think I'd be like, I have to stand my ground because nobody's fucking my ass off.
I think if you're a social butterfly, you'll be able to handle it. I think I would do very well.
Here's another story. My dad went to prison, right? For one
like prison or jail?
I think it was something. I think it was like. It was, I can't.
He was locked up for a time though.
A while,
okay,
yeah. Potentially away for years. Like,
that's a long time.
So I think you go to real. I don't know like how. I don't know. I've never been involved enough to know.
You mind?
Yeah, how about it? I was saving that a little bit for you to finish. Anyways, here, put that in mine, and then you can pour it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and he told me a story about how he was happy-go-lucky in prison, right?
They didn't like that?
And they did not like that. He said this Mexican guy, this tattooed Mexican guy, when he was in the shower, decided he was going to take a towel and wrap it around his neck and choke him to death, right? So he was taking a shower. You're all vulnerable, butt naked, right?
That's the worst.
And this Mexican guy comes in there, probably also butt naked,
yeah,
with a towel, throws it around his neck, tries choking him out, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said this Mexican had really long hair, so he grabbed him by the hair and threw him over his head, right? So like he just like, thrusted him.
Your dad's a karate champ too.
Karate Hall of Famer.
All Valley champ.
And apparently, like, cause you know, like, have you ever been in like a school shower or something like that? I mean, a prison shower where it's just the floor is like, you know, it's
just tile.
It's tile, like concrete tile stone. Throws him back. His heel shatters.
Wait,
the Mexican guy's heel.
Oof.
Shattered.
Oh, because it just slammed on the...
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine just being like if you were just like full
over,
just freaking thrown.
Yeah, that's rough.
Shatters his ankle, and then just goes like it's even more time in prison. So he's just trying to kill somebody in prison. So he probably got life, right? Like that guy probably got even more of a prison sentence. But I was just thinking like he was and he was like, oh, like apparently he was saying people said he's like, yeah, you didn't like you were too happy, you were too smiley in here. You're not supposed to be happy in prison.
I don't think you should. I'm not saying I would be. You might not believe it. I think I'd thrive in prison.
Okay, let's hear it.
Because I'm not gonna be happy-go-lucky. I feel like I could infiltrate like groups. I'm great with blacks. I'm great with blacks. They love me, and then like I can. I don't know. I think I'm just good at like getting into a group and being there, and not causing a ruckus. And just being a steady player. I think that's what it takes. You don't gotta be like Mr. Rogers. I'm thinking like...
I think you're underestimating the kind of person in prison. Like...
No.
No, I think you're underestimating, like, the violent, like, kind of nutcase.
I think they're underestimating... No, I can't.
Because, dude, you gotta think, like, you've never, ever had a person where you just cannot get along with?
No, I get along with everybody.
Yeah, you're a liar. Dude,
no, 100%.
Then you're not putting yourself in uncomfortable situations.
I 100% am.
There's people...
I have a great tolerance. I have great patience. Dude, I'm telling you. I'm your go-to guy for everything. I'm serious.
I think that there's some people that would hate you. And I'm not saying this in a bad way. I just think that there's some... Because people will find anything to hate. Like, there are certain people out there so angry at life.
Not me, buddy.
They are so angry at life where they would just be like,
but then
that guy's humor sucks. That guy's smile, I just want to punch him in the face.
God damn him for being so happy.
But
where'd you get off?
Dude, and also, I get along with most people. I could get along with a criminal, don't get me wrong. But there's a certain type of personality that just like, there's no hope. There's no hope.
I think I could get through to him.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people think that. A lot of therapists have thought that too.
You just have to listen. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, me and Ted Bundy, we're gonna kick it at the crib.
I would listen to every story he has to offer.
I'm trying to think like who the most effed up human being is, and if you could sit down and be like, yeah, we're cool. Like, who in your brain is like? So you're just like, yeah, me and Adolf Hitler are just chilling.
Like Charles Manson or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Just some kind of sick, psychotic human being who just wants to fillet you and eat your flesh, like, and you're just like, yeah, dude, we're cool, we're all right, we're just chilling.
I'm not saying I would like them. I'm saying I could, get them to like me.
Also, another movie you should watch about prison. It's called, I think it's like Fight at Cell Block 99 or something like that.
Okay.
Something Cell Block 99,
okay.
Right? It has what's his name in Wedding Crashers or whatever.
Vince Vaughn.
And
oh, really?
He plays like this screwed up guy, right?
Like, is it a serious role? Not like
serious.
Not a comedy.
And he nails it. I mean, like to a
Vince
level.
Vaughn?
Dude, nails it.
Nah.
Dude, you gotta watch.
No
it's
way.
So good.
I can't see Vince Vaughn doing a serious role after all the comedy that he's done.
Dude, you have to watch it. Dude, and his whole, like, he just doesn't even look like the same guy, too. Shaven head. I mean, completely, he just doesn't look like himself.
Yeah.
And he just looks like a chiseled, like...
Just a prison guy?
Yeah. It's so good, though. It's so good. You have to watch it. And I don't even want to spoil it, because I really want you to watch it. And I've been trying to tell people... I don't even think I've told people to watch this movie, but I watched it, like, a few months ago. And I was blown away.
Really?
It was I was like, that was way better than I expected.
Is it an old movie?
It slightly. I think it's like early 2000s, maybe mid 2000s or something like that.
Okay.
But like, it's a movie I never heard of. But like, I was looking on Reddit because sometimes I like to like try to find obscure things. So like, most people, like, there's like a mainstream, and then there's like a like what people like that isn't you don't hear about. And I was trying to like look for movies that like people don't consider mainstream or like or under. I think I looked up like underrated movies or something like that, and that was the one that came up because I've never heard anybody talk about it.
Yeah.
But it is so good. It's so good. It's so good.
What'd you watch it on?
Oh, what did I watch it on? It might have been on Netflix, actually.
Really?
Yeah, it might have been on Netflix at the time. It might still be on there, honestly.
I'll check it out.
It's so
And
good.
I can watch it next week or talk about it next week.
Yeah, tell me about it.
But you think you'd be good in prison?
I think I would be intermediate. I think I'd be right in the middle, where
That's where you want to be.
I don't think I would be like the guy being like, all right, I'm gonna fight these people.
Right.
But I would do it if I had to.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I just like, it's like, God.
I think rape would be a big concern of mine.
As long as I'm not like somebody's bitch, we're good.
Yeah.
That's it.
Would you rape?
Would I rape? No. In prison, I don't get the appeal. I was even talking to him about this the other day, but like ladyboys and stuff like that, dude, a wiener involved in anything, I'd be like, yeah, no thanks. Like, I'd be like, I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
I don't consider you a lady, you know? Like, I just don't want to be like...
Not many men have that resolve, you know?
Yeah,
What? Not many men have that resolve, man.
So you'd be taking advantage of young men's buttholes in there?
Oh, of course.
Would you?
Oh, yeah.
Don't lie to me.
I would.
Don't lie to
I
me.
couldn't. I feel like I would just look at it and
I would look at it. Look, what is this?
I don't
Brown
like- I
eyes,
don't
children
like-
staring back at me.
I don't like butthole on any gender.
Uh-huh.
I'm not involved in any of that. So when there's a dick and balls attached to it, it's not going to be more appealing to me. I don't know. I couldn't imagine being that horny where I'm like, just give me a hole. Just give me a freaking...
Some guys have been in there for like 15, 20 years.
I get that.
But you have that. All right, fine.
Yeah, you want to
15
go...
years, 20.
Yeah.
I'd cry. No,
That's a long time, though.
But-
to have no ass.
dude, I still think I'd be like, my hand's good. You know.
Right, like,
I'd
as
be like,
long as
I
I'm
don't-
shooting.
I don't
Yeah.
need to be like, yeah, you know, I need that sense. Like, I would just not be like, oh my god, I do not want to be like with a dude and be like,
I would be weird. I would feel weird after.
yeah.
If I had the dude and we just had a lovely moment, and
You cuddle up next to him after.
I'd be a little conflicted, disgusted. It's just like... Then you gotta start... You keep up the relationship.
I would love.
Get him flowers.
I would love to talk to somebody who has been on
Raped?
both sides of that experience
Raper and rapee.
and explain it in
I bet that
prison
happens a lot.
and be like, what was the moment in your head where you were like,
Relive that trauma for me.
yeah.
So I can get views. I'm looking to monetize your story. No, that is
money.
I see potential in you, son. I think it's interesting though, because like, my guess is you get raped, then get a hate for everything, and then start raping. I feel like you start as a rapee.
Really? You don't think that there's somebody that's like, I don't want it, I just only give, I don't receive? I imagine there's some guys out there that are like, I'm not that guy, I'm not a bottom, you know?
You think there's like a mutual thing too? It's not all forced. You think?
Yeah,
someone's
I
like,
do think there's a lot of, I actually do think
like
there's
give and
not a
take
lot of,
kind of.
yeah, I do. I imagine, I actually think that they probably play up the amount of force in movies and media and everything.
Right.
Then there's probably a lot of like willing parties on both ends. I imagine.
I agree with that.
I imagine it's more so that than the other.
Yeah, because like if you're just guys can't be fighting all. I think that's what they want you to think. Like they're not fighting all the time.
Yeah. And also, if you do fight, you're in trouble. Guess
Exactly.
what?
There's consequences.
Yeah, you're going to be staying here for a little bit longer. So
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
so if
yeah,
you
I
can
don't
sneak
want
in
that.
some sex here and there. It's like I'll do it Wednesday. You can get me on Saturday.
I forget where I heard this, but apparently, like, conjugal visits are still allowed because it, like, statistically has been proven that
To
it lowers...
decrease rape.
No, probably that too, but it lowers, like, fights and aggression in prisons.
I would imagine, dude.
So, like...
You ever work a 12-hour shift? Sometimes your mind runs, dude. I couldn't imagine day by day.
This guy's really pissing me off.
No. But, like...
One of these days I'm going to come in here and take my boss out.
Break his fucking back. No, I mean, like... What are the conjugal visits? Like, who's visiting them?
It's
Just
like their
loved ones?
wives.
Oh, okay.
So I think only wives are allowed to do conjugal visits.
Wouldn't that be kind of interesting if, like, we had... if prostitution was legal?
Yeah, imagine that.
You could have a partnership with prisons.
It's legal some places, though. Is it legal in Vegas?
Yeah.
I think that's like the first place that it was legal. Or
Yeah.
something like that.
You saw it. You went to Vegas before.
Uh-huh. There's like pamphlets everywhere, but then it's like.
Did you see the escorts?
I did not in Vegas, but I have seen them like in other places.
They're dressed up nice, right?
And I haven't seen them in Vegas. I don't know. I'm talking about like the trash. Like, you drive through Kensington and you're like, oh.
Escorts. Kensington escorts are probably really disgusting. Those are just hookers.
Yeah, they're just meth heads. They're not even. They're just like.
An escort's like a profession.
Yeah.
In Vegas, they're like.
Professional.
Like tens. Yeah,
really?
You'll see them on the street. There's like usually a guy who looks kind of like Andrew Tate.
They like test them. There's a guy.
And then he's like surrounded by women. I'm serious. We were in Fremont. I was with Akash, and you could see like multiple groups of. I would assume.
It's like, do you go up to the dude? Like, how does this work?
I think maybe I don't know, but you would see like these like women dressed up. Like sexy business,
they're in
business sexy.
Suits?
Yeah. 100%. But
Nuh-uh.
clearly they are whores. And the
guy
guy
is tell though if they're wearing a pantsuit.
What are you doing in Vegas? You're not conducting business on Fremont, and it was multiple groups. There would be a guy surrounded by these. Honestly, beautiful women. Like, they were well taken care of.
What do you like? What is that guy though? That he's like so fantastic to where he's just like, is he just a master manipulator, or is he just like, is he just so great?
Do you think they work for like a conglomerate, or do you think he's running the show?
They have to in some way. He's running the show. He's basically pimping these women out. But, oh yeah, this guy will take her or whatever. Like so, like what is like? It just doesn't like. What does this guy got? Like, why are you... obviously, it has to be, like, a desperation thing, right? Like, there's no way these women are just like, I love this job. I love this line of work, right?
I love getting fucked every day.
I love just exchanging money for my body.
Another day, another dude. I couldn't imagine that, like, getting pounded every day.
Well, you said you'd make it in prison, so I think...
I would do so well in prison.
Yeah.
I'd offer up my butt.
Would you?
I'd be the first one to be like, all right, guys, get in here. Because I got to pay my dues early.
I would hate that it would come to that. I'd be like, I can't do it. I can't. I'm sorry.
Maybe, I don't know. It doesn't have to be the butt. It could be like mouth stuff, too.
I feel like that's even worse.
Yeah.
It's so personal.
I'd rather do it.
It's so personal. You gotta look them in the eye.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I'd rather look at the wall. I would do great in prison.
Somewhere else. I'm in a meadow.
I'm in Hawaii.
Sipping margaritas on the beach.
Anyway. You have any questions for me?
The prostitute thing. So were you just walking around? What time of day was this?
This is nighttime. We got into Vegas around 10, 11 o'clock.
Okay. And you were just walking around. You're like, oh, look at that.
Yeah, because like...
Excuse me, ma'am. Can I take a photo with you?
In honesty, I'm only 95% sure they were escorts. Because what else would they have been?
Yeah, they could just be like, he could be just like a DJ or like...
Yeah. They're not Jehovah's Witnesses. They're not like walking around spreading the word. But it's one of those things where you see it and your brain clicks. You're like, that's what that is. Because that's what this is. This is Vegas, baby.
If you didn't know what a prostitute was, do you think you'd be like, oh, this makes sense? Because I feel like that concept is so foreign. Like, it's such a bizarre...
What do you mean if I didn't know what
if you never heard, like if you were so innocent, you're walking the street.
You mean like escort stuff?
Yeah, if you were just walking the streets and you were just like so innocent, you'd never even heard of it or were exposed to it, you would just be like, oh, they're friends.
Just a group of women with a guy. Yeah, I would be so blind to it. Yeah. But then you hear about it and you go there and it's like, wow. Like, wow, there it is.
That's what's happening.
Also, why do people bring their kids to Vegas? That bothers the shit out of me. You saw kids there? Yeah, dude.
I hate Vegas, but I love their food. Love their food.
I didn't eat there.
Oh my god, dude. I went, like, literally, we rolled up to, like, this, like, the most, like, underwhelming diner of all time. But then the food was, like, the most nuts thing. It was, like, dude, it was just crazy. Like, the pancakes were, like, imagine everything times 10.
Yeah.
Like, and the level of, like, extravagant.
Really?
The portion size. Like, everything, they say everything's big in Texas. No, like, you go to Vegas and you're like, holy moly.
I don't know. I mean, we passed a casino. They had steak and seafood night. We almost went.
Yeah, that's one thing I haven't done is go to a Vegas buffet, but I really want to. I want to go to the Heart Attack Grill. So bad. Yeah, you never heard of the Heart Attack Grill?
I never did.
Heart Attack Grill, if you weigh over, I think, 300 pounds, you eat for free. not even kidding.
I've heard of this. Yeah,
they have a scale outside, but then also they have like the highest like record of people who've had heart attacks in their restaurant.
That's kind of cool that they like leaned into that.
Apparently, everyone is dressed up as a nurse.
That's kind of cool.
Or a doctor.
Damn, it's really coming down on
Yeah,
there.
it is.
I would definitely put like weights in my pockets or like wear like a weighted vest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you still
big trench coat.
I think I'm under. I think I'm saying it too low. I don't know if it's 300, 400, or 5. I don't know.
Could you imagine the amount of weight you'd have to wear?
Dude,
just to get in.
I saw like videos on Instagram of people walking up and standing on it, and I was amazed that people can get that big.
That's kind of like you're kind of selling your dignity.
Dude, what?
In a sense, like
I always do. There's something mentally wrong with somebody when they're like are past the 400 mark.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, what is wrong in your brain that you just cannot stop eating? Like you cannot pick up a hobby other than McDonald's.
How do you feel about fat shaming?
I think you absolutely need to do it.
I think so.
Dude, we have no problem shaming smokers.
I think it's essential.
Alcoholics.
Right.
What's the difference?
Yeah, it's just another unhealthy habit.
It's just like, dude, be better.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I feel like also people don't understand that fat shaming is not coming from a place of like
hate.
Yeah,
it's like we're disgusted.
It's like
because it's unhealthy.
Yeah, it's like I don't want you to be that fat. Like I don't want you to be unhealthy and like a gross parasite on society.
I don't know. I feel like I say that, and then but I don't know the person, so like I think initially it's like disgust.
Have you ever watched like 600 Pound Life and then you hear their stories about like why they just cannot stop eating?
No, I always wonder why.
Like,
what's like the most common?
Dude, a lot of it is just abuse and rape when they were kids.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of it.
That sucks, man.
And it's so sad.
That is sad.
Because it's not like dude, sometimes it's like it's not the eating part that's the problem. Like it is they are self-destructing in a way, like to a point where it's not even it's partially not even their fault. I feel like sometimes like you're like, oh man, that's so sad because they can't help it when they're a kid and they're just living their life, and then all of a sudden their dad or stepdad or mother is just a horrible human being,
and then you just get into that habit of just fucking gorging yourself.
Yeah, and that's the only like relief you have. The only
that is really sad.
Like, and you have to feel slightly bad for them, in that sense. Like you got
a little bit of pity.
Man, you poor bastard. You know, like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Card full. How dare you? You can keep talking. It's all right.
I was gonna say, like, what do you think about Ozempic?
Oh, did I tell? I probably shouldn't say this on the podcast. I'm gonna say it anyways because nobody watches it. But my mother is on the off-brand.
Is it working? How much weight has she lost?
A lot.
Really?
A lot. I told her, I texted her the other day, but she left me on red or just ghosted me.
Right.
I was
She's
like, hey.
In an Ozempic coma.
I told her, I was like, hey, I care about you. Like, I love you. Please stop.
Really?
I was like, please, like, lay off it. Because, like, I was watching and the reason I even said that was because I was watching a video the other day where this guy was talking, and it was a podcast, so obviously it's true. Where this guy was talking about the long-term effects or whatever of like the Ozempic or the off-brands and stuff like that, like the thyroid cancer, the like just like insane amount of just like side effects that are way worse than being fat, in my opinion. Like it's like, all right, so you're skinny or whatever, which is sweet. It's like you probably get to enjoy life, like you get to like go on more walks, be more active, you know, like be around your family. Like being skinny most likely will make you live longer if there's not some kind of crazy event.
Right, you're not carrying all that excess weight.
But is it worth it if you're skinny, but then you just develop some sort of cancer? You know?
Yeah, that is a tough one. I think, like, I'm weird about it because I'm like, okay, well, if you're skinny, like you said, you'll live longer. You'll also be happier because you're not overweight and depressed because of that fucking fat. You know what I mean? Like if you're that heavy, you're not living like a happy life. I don't care. I don't believe that, like, where people say that they can be happy at that weight.
I'm probably like 22, 23% body fat, right? Which is a lot. It's heavy. But when I'm like low 15s, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
when I get that low, like when I'm like 18, I've probably never been 15 to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But when I get lower, the amount of just like how much better I feel, and
Right.
like I mean like happier, like
You feel lighter.
and I mean like that's like not even a crazy difference. Like it's not like you look at me and be like, oh, 23%, 22% body fat, he's fat or whatever.
Right.
But like you'd be like, but like the amount of like happiness I get being skinnier, and it's not even because like, oh, I'm skinny. It's like, no, I mean like my base level throughout everything I do, like
Right. It's just
I am just like
better.
better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
yeah.
a better.
Like imagine
headspace.
that. And if there's like a, that's the thing. Like, the thing is, if you don't like Ozempic at all or that kind of drug, you're like, just get in the gym, work out, whatever.
Uh-huh.
I feel like it's really hard for people.
Yeah.
Which, part of me thinks, well, it should be hard,
Mm-hmm.
and they should just do it anyway. But then the other part of me, the more empathetic side, is like, well, if they take it, lose weight, and then they have the confidence and courage to go into the gym and start working
That's
out
better.
more. That's
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think it's like more of a net positive than a net negative. But I also still feel weird about like people taking it and then not putting in the work after.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll just take it, lose the
Yeah,
weight.
it is
and
like a shortcut, and then they think that's all there is. It's like, well, don't take Ozempic should be a gateway to a better lifestyle.
Yes.
It's not like an all fixed purpose drug
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, I never have to work out again. I could just have
Right.
Ozempic.
It's literally, dude, honestly, it's kind of a cool shortcut. If
Yeah,
you have the wherewithal and knowledge to be like, all right, then I'm going to start lifting weights, eating better. Because you can just take Ozempic and eat like shit.
Uh-huh.
I think that's where probably most of the health problems come from.
Well, it just kills your appetite. You just don't ever want to eat.
Exactly.
You just never want to eat. It just subdues that little part in your brain where you're just like, a burger would be good. It'd be like, no, I feel sick thinking about food.
See, that doesn't sound healthy either.
Doesn't sound fun. Yeah.
No.
Well, also,
'Cause I love eating too. So.
I also heard too like that it's not that you lose a lot of body fat. It's a lot of bone density and muscle mass.
Exactly. So, well, because people take it and they don't
work out.
Exactly. So
And
when
then
you
it's
take
like,
it and then you lose
your
all
body wants protein more as a fuel. It's not going to
Exactly,
turn.
dude.
It's just.
So you're kind of putting yourself on the back foot if you're not going to do the extra work. Like I don't know what doctors are telling patients when they're like, take the Ozempic. Like, are they saying, oh, also eat a lot of protein and then work out?
Sometimes it's not even doctors. My mom got it through Weight Watchers.
What?
Mm-hmm. They prescribed it through Weight Watchers. Yeah.
What?
Isn't that weird? You can just be like, yeah, okay.
Oh,
also, the
that's
brand, you
fucked.
ever see the commercials? Where we were talking about this is funny because we were talking about
Yes.
this earlier.
Yeah.
The commercials for Hims and Hers.
Yeah.
That's a pharmaceutical company. They're good commercials though.
Yeah.
But you can also get prescribed it through there too.
Yeah, I did know about that.
Yep.
That's fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm. So, dude, those are commercials that probably work in the pharmaceutical space. Like we were saying, how it doesn't work. I honestly think those Hims and Hers commercials probably pull in a lot of people.
That
Didn't even think about that.
no, I didn't, because those are good commercials.
Yeah, they're good because they fit in. Like it's like, dude, they don't like stay. It's the bad commercials that you think about now. Like, because I'm thinking about like, oh, like like the title screen down there. You
the
might
guy's like throwing a football, and
Uh-huh.
you're like, who is this for?
Yeah, you're like, oh, might have some side effecting of you want to kill yourself, bleeding stool, like, and then you're like, who falls for this?
Yeah.
But then you watch those commercials where it's like, oh my god, Blue Chew, or like, like here's some
Yeah.
Hims and Her,
Dude,
like.
that's insane. I didn't even think of that. Because that's just
I'm
marketing
trying
for the new generation.
I'm trying to think right now though, like,
That's scary, man.
because that marketing that we're talking about is totally for the boomers. It
Yeah.
really works on the boomers
Oh,
constantly.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and those are the people that are taking pills constantly.
And I don't think like all those older ones, they're like you said, like giving you like all the side effects.
Uh-huh.
The Hims ones, and
That's
hers?
I was
don't
just
think they
thinking that
do.
too, but I was wondering, is there a loophole because
It's
they're
a third party.
or it's like like I'm trying to think like the way that they probably found some kind of weird loophole because they're not trying to be like, oh, this drug. They're not doing a specific drug. They're doing it as a company and be like, come here for your resources. Because like think about like that company RX or whatever where it's like
Good
an
RX?
Good RX.
Yeah.
That's a pharmaceutical company.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But they don't have any like description of like, oh, bleeding, like suicidal thoughts because
That's
it's a
insane.
company
So then it
that
gets
provides you anything.
So when you see the commercial, they don't have to provide those
when it's not a specific drug, I bet.
Exactly.
So they could probably be showing all kinds of different drugs.
Dude, you just cracked the code, man.
Like,
that's insane.
yeah.
We're getting marketed like crazy right now.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
Would you jump on TRT?
That's testosterone, right?
Yeah.
No. Not until like I would have to.
Older, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
when you're older.
It depends on where I'm at, like in life.
Did the marketing work?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I would
think-
jump on it too.
Really? You think so?
Well, not at this age, but when I'm older, dude, if my wiener doesn't work, or like
Game over.
yeah, and like my quality of life, where like I can't go on walks or like go hike or camp or like.
But do you
I'd be
think
like,
you would
dude.
need to do that if you just live a consistently active lifestyle up until that point?
Dude, I think aging is a hell of a drug, and I think it happens quicker than you think, and I think it hurts, and it's miserable, and it's hard to sleep.
You know what's funny? Yesterday, I was doing something. My knees were like making this crazy noise. I'm only 25.
Dude,
I was like, what is happening? I was like popping and cracking and shit. I was like, this is bad.
How-
And shit takes longer to heal now. I remember when I was younger, you might be able to, attest to this. Like if you like fuck up, sprain an ankle or something, it's like a week or two.
Yeah.
You're good to go.
dude, I've noticed like certain things. Like I cut myself the other day,
Yeah.
and like how long it takes to heal.
It's kind of scary.
It's like, dude, this is just gonna get slower and slower. So if you get injured like one time when you're old, and your body doesn't have like testosterone or like the right like hormones to like really get you going, like
You're done.
it's gonna take even longer.
Mhm.
And it's like I sprained my ankle playing basketball like a few months ago, and the amount of like I remember spraining ankles and just being like playing basketball the next day or like
Just get over it.
wrestling the next day or something like that.
Not
It
the
just
same anymore.
doesn't even matter. Didn't even
Mhm.
phase me. I'd be like, yeah, it hurts, but whatever. But like I remember being like, I'm set up for a week.
Yeah.
I was like, this is like hard walking,
Yeah.
and I was like, this is
It's
bad.
crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I would do anything to avoid being like set up like that, like like where you're just like,
You think TRT will help that?
yeah, oh my god. Dude, I bet you like tearing like ACLs and like muscles and things like that.
Yeah.
If you're on TRT, the amount of like bounce back is probably like
It's probably way
shrinks
better.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. When do you start going down in the test? When's
I always
like
hear
the-
people always say that once you turn like 35, you like your body like
Oh,
just
really?
completely starts to like fall apart. But I don't think like your levels will be too bad if you're 35, especially if you like maintain a healthy lifestyle. I actually think around 50 is when it's like your testosterone starts to really be done.
Well, that's it. I thought it was like 30.
Oh yeah,
I thought it
no,
was.
you'll probably be good around 30. You probably just will like have like less drop, like libido, like
Oh,
kind of
okay.
like that kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's probably gonna be a slow decline, I'd imagine.
Right.
I don't think it's just gonna be one day you wake up, you're like 35, your birthday, and you're like, oh,
Right.
like
right. Yeah.
I feel old. Like
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, like, isn't there like a certain age where you can't not go down, but like level out? Like,
believe it or not, this age that we're at, I think 26 is like the highest level of testosterone in males.
really?
So like if you were to be like getting in the gym now and stuff, no, obviously it's better if you start earlier, but like
Mhm.
you have the best chance of like gaining insane amounts of muscle in your 20s.
Yeah.
Late 20s.
Because the hormones or something.
Yeah, and the bigger you are, apparently, the later you bloom. So taller guys like taller guys can
Where's this
so like
data from?
well, like UFC fighters, like football player, like people like people who retire early in like sports and stuff are usually smaller because like they're physically just like their body will like peak earlier.
Really?
Yeah, so like usually like you could look at like a lot of like I feel like fighting is like the biggest one, like especially jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. Like
Mhm.
UFC, like the heavier weight classes,
Yeah.
older guys run it.
That's a very good point. Like John Jones.
Like super old.
That's that's interesting. I never really realized that.
But also the John Jones thing bothers me or whatever because he's like there's two heavyweight champions right now. What's his name? The other guy.
Tom Aspinall.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he won't fight him. It's like, dude,
I hate that.
just fight him. Just,
Yeah, you have
like
to.
I'm sorry, but if you
Yeah.
gotta lose, you gotta lose.
I feel like
you gotta
Tom
pass it on.
Aspinall would destroy.
You think so?
I think so.
I don't
yeah.
think so.
Really?
Yeah.
John Jones is old as hell though. Actually, you know Alex Pereira.
Uh-huh.
Him and John Jones are the same age.
That's crazy.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and think about how he was kickboxing and now he's like running. He was running UFC there for a minute.
Yeah,
Like
that's
and
kind of crazy.
And how old is he? 30 something, 40? Well, how old?
I feel like late 30s.
Yeah.
I always think they're older than that.
Think about how really you think so. I always think that's crazy to think that you're just punching somebody in the skull at the age of like 35.
That is crazy, and
you're doing it consistently, probably every day,
well,
like
like
train.
very well.
Yeah, and at the most elite level.
That is scary.
Like you think that like a 25-year-old should be like,
yeah,
more like it's like, but it's not how it works in the game of like sports and things like that. It's like, because I also think that experience comes in too to play a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I imagine they probably start to feel their body fall apart around 40, 50, and it's like, because you can't keep fighting after like 44.
It can't be worth it.
You're done. Also, how old was Cowboy Cerrone when he retired? I think he was about to hit 40. I think it was
probably
like
around
30
40.
something.
That's crazy though. I always think that they're older than they are, but then I'm like, oh, he's like 35. That's not that old.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know 35-year-olds.
I'm trying to think of like football players. Like who was the guy on the Eagles who just retired? You probably aren't even familiar with the Eagles. Like I don't even watch sports.
The Kelsey guy?
No. Oh yeah. How old was he?
I think he was old. I want to guess, judging by my memory of his face, probably like almost 40, late 30s. I would guess.
Yeah, and he was a big dude.
Yeah.
He's like 6'8", right, or something. He was something like 6'2". No, he was 6'2". I think he was the smallest center or something.
Yeah. Something like that. I don't know the stats.
Yeah, I
can't pretend to know.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah. Yeah, I think he was like 7'5".
I always like hate talking about sports with dudes because I feel like such a cliche.
A fraud. Oh, I feel like a fraud.
Really?
Yeah, because...
Well, I definitely am a fraud, but I also think that, like, it's so basic. It's like, dude, every dude. If you go to any conversation about that, have you ever been in, like, in like a... You were saying how you get along with most people or whatever,
yeah.
but, like...
Yeah.
That's the one thing, I'm like a fish out of water or whatever, but I hate it so
Same.
much. But when people start talking about sports around me, and they're like, oh my god, Tom Brady this, or that, this football player this, and I'm just like,
what?
Guys, anything else. Like, that's so boring. It's the same thing every year.
It is the same conversation every time.
It's like, it's like, oh, he's the greatest quarterback. It's
right.
like,
it's like,
who gives a shit?
I mean, I like talking, like, UFC stuff.
UFC's awesome.
I think that's the one thing. It is, yeah.
It's just...
Well, that's like combat. I think when it comes to, like, football, baseball, stuff like that, I don't know. Whenever people talk, like you said, I'm a fish out of water in that conversation, too, because, like, I just don't... Everyone's like, what kind of sports do you watch? I was like, man, sometimes I watch UFC highlights. That's all I watch.
Yeah.
And I, like, after that, I'm like, I cannot
converse
in this.
Yeah, it's gone. It's like...
I don't know names for teams. I don't know... I mean, I know team names, but, like... People are, like, invested in this shit, man.
Super invested.
Like,
people
crazy.
The amount of gambling, too, that goes on in it. Dude, it's nuts.
Dude, all my coworkers, they have...
Gamble all day, right? Like, it's so...
I had no idea this was a thing.
Yes.
They're on fucking... It's so funny.
Dude, my parlay just hit. It's like...
Dude,
what?
I think it's hilarious, too, because they'll talk about gambling and how much money they've lost. And then I'll, like, walk past. They'll be on their phone in the break room. And I'll kind of glance at their phone. Dude's on the fucking slots on his phone. What are you doing, dude?
Way.
Yeah, why are you gambling in your free time?
Dude, somebody would...
I don't get that.
I forget where I was working or something like that, but somebody was telling me, like, this, like, hack on a slot machine or something, or, like, this is how this guy does it or whatever, like, so that you can go to Wind Creek and, like, get free plays, and I was like, dude, the amount of I don't give a shit of this conversation right now, it's like, you don't have to tell me about the cheat codes to gambling.
No, yeah.
I am not gonna listen.
Yeah.
Like, I am just not... You're not gonna be like the guy who wins. I'm sorry. You're not that
you're
guy.
You're not gonna crack the code.
Yeah.
Have you ever been, like... Have guys been like, yo, let's go to the casino and hit the slot. They're like, I hit the slots first, then I go into the...
They got their strategy all the way up. I lost $600.
And they're like... And I'm like... I asked them, I'm like, well, like... When do you, like, continue... Like, when do you know when to continue? They're like, well... First I hit the slots. And to me, that tells me you're retarded.
Yeah, yes, you're an idiot.
There's nothing dumber than... like, just sitting in front of a fucking screen that's playing Candy Crush and you're losing hundreds of dollars. And then they go, well, if I'm having a good night after slots, like if I win something, then I'll go to like
which is like the worst thing you could possibly
do. That's the one that you have the least amount of chance of winning because it's a computer.
But also it's like the psychology of you being like, oh, I'm winning. I gotta go somewhere else and win some more. It's like your odds of winning decrease the more you play.
Yeah, it's true.
Like-
But like they'll keep bringing you drinks. They'll sauce you up, and then you go and I don't know. There's a lot of Asians at my job, and they apparently crack the code. I think they do.
They sleep there.
Yeah,
They sleep
they
there.
bust them in.
Mm-hmm.
They bust them in, and I went to watch UFC at the casino with Shane, and it was the one in Bethlehem, and we got there, and it was Shane's first time in a casino, so I was like, just so you know, Asians everywhere, just be prepared for that. And he was like, all right, whatever. And we get there, and the trash cans, they say, it says in English, we thought this was hilarious. It says, please do not spit in the trash cans. And then under that, it was in Chinese letters. We were like, who is that for? Who's spitting in the trash cans? Probably the Asians.
That's a weird thing because that's something I totally would do.
Just hawk a loogie in the trash. What a weird rule. It's a trash can.
Also, it's like if I have a loogie or something, it's like I don't want to swallow it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fucking
Also, like
spit it on
if
the
I have
floor.
a zin in my mouth or something like that, I want to spit that
Exactly.
out. Or like if somebody chewing tobacco,
Yeah.
like let them spit.
Let the man spit. This country's going to hell in a handbasket. But no, these Asians I work with,
How many old people were there? That was the real question, because that's always the one that I'm like, dude, the amount of
It's a lot.
sitting on the slot machines is like sickening.
I always like there's a guy at the slots and then a girl sitting on his leg. You
Oh,
ever
I
seen
never
that? It's
saw
like the
that.
couple that he's just at the slots and she's sitting on there. He's like, but it's always like a ratty couple. Like they look like they're on like fentanyl.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there, and then the fucking zombie lady's just like, like pointing at the screen. That shit. I don't know. Casinos fire me up. Like I get in there and I just feel like everyone in there is
Honest
stupid.
to God, that you might be the only other person I've talked to that hates them as much as me.
I don't like them.
I hate them so much. Every time I go in there, I'm like, I need to leave.
Yeah.
I do not.
It rubs me the wrong
Dude,
way.
I hate everyone in there. I'm like, I do not want to affiliate myself with this crowd. I
Yeah.
don't want to like be the person that is just like a weak just a little rat in a they're all just like little rats running around
It feels that
getting
way.
little dopamine
It's like that like maze. It feels like when you're looking at the maze and the rats like in the maze trying to get the crumb.
Mhm.
That's what it feels like.
yeah.
It's just it's a disturbing setting.
It's gross. It's so gross, dude. And if you think about it in term, I always like to think about money in the terms of like time spent.
Yeah.
So it's like how many people spent like hours, 12-hour shifts, or like just like insane amounts of time, and then they're like, guess what I'm gonna do on my free time? I'm gonna go take that money, that time that I just spent getting this money, to throw it in a fucking hole and burn it.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like
terrible. Like
it
what
is
you do
the amount of people just wasting life, just walking into a casino, is scary.
It is, and some of my coworkers, I'll be like, they were trying to get me to go to the casino, and I was like, I'm not really a gambler. I asked him, I was like, how much? What's the most you've ever won? Dude goes, oh, like $50. I'm like, how much? I said, what's the most you've lost? He was like, probably like 2,000. What are you doing then? You won 50. You didn't win anything then. Yeah, you keep going back. Is that an addiction?
Imagine
I don't know.
$2,000 sitting in your bank that you
I
didn't
can't
gamble.
think about that.
Like think about $2,000 that like you just put in an investment account or something. Like just anything else you could have done with that $2,000
It's like
instead of just being like,
yeah, I could give up a month's rent
yes.
just to look at a TV for a little bit.
I
That boggles my mind, dude.
Give up. To look at a TV is that's such a funny way to put it because it literally is just like
Yeah. Well, there goes my money.
playing tic-tac-toe on a fucking screen.
And I have conversations with these people, and I'm like, I want to just tell them they're fucking stupid.
You can't. They can't hear it. It's like
No.
they're locked in a cage and they can't hear it. It's like there's a soundproof door or
They're
something.
like, la la la.
Yeah. As soon as you're like, I don't think you should gamble, it's like in their head they just see you be like, I'm an idiot, or like,
Exactly.
it's like just Charlie Brown speak. It's like,
it's like, it's ridiculous, dude.
oh man, that's so funny though, because I feel like everybody I talk to, especially dudes, like most dudes,
They love it.
you can fit them in a box. It's like sports betting, casinos, drinking.
A lot of people
And
cheat too.
What do you mean cheat?
Like, are unfaithful.
Oh yeah, I don't know a lot of unfaithful people, to be quite honest with you.
Really?
Everybody that I hang out with are like all the rugby guys. They're all just like going back to the wife, you know.
I love that.
Yeah, like that's it. Like that's just what they. I'm trying to think. Like my brothers, like they're not like they're fucking what. Like I don't know a lot of people who are just like going off to. And maybe your work is a little bit different.
It is.
I assume that it's like, and I don't work with like people that. I think that's a different. There's like two different kinds of places to work or whatever. There's certain jobs you get, and there's a very lack of like trash there. But if you're like a CDL driver or like in a factory, there's some good people. There's a lot of good people.
A lot of good people.
But then there's a lot of bad apples.
A lot of the good people too like make shitty choices as well.
Because I mean, think about it. Like, dude, they're working in I'm not trying to come at you or whatever, where you're working or whatever.
I don't care.
Dude, I worked in the same places for years. It's like, dude, sometimes it's a stepping stool for some people, and then sometimes it is like
where they're at.
You are locked in, and that is like a bunch of. It's a combination of bad choices that lead you to not move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I know tons of like, in my opinion, stand-up guys, and then they'll like cheat on their wives, and I'm like, well then now you're not a stand-up guy anymore.
Yeah.
But you're nice, but you're a scumbag.
Yeah.
When no one's looking.
Do you ever ask them to like how they rationalize it?
Cheating on their wives.
Mm-hmm. Like how they're like, why? You ever just follow up with like a why?
I did have there was a guy at my one job, one of my other factory jobs. His name was Nick. We called him Nasty Nick.
Uh-huh.
That was his nickname.
I love that.
He was a dog. He would cheat on every woman
that he was with.
Oh yeah, and he had like 3 kids. He was a baby daddy to like 3 other kids, and I'd be like I would like probe him like, why are you doing this to yourself? And he just. There's something in his brain that just didn't click about, it was something about, like, he didn't want to be tied down, like, living with one woman, like, I don't understand that. Like, he didn't understand that he's just a scumbag to be a scumbag. He didn't see anything wrong with it.
So you think that people are just so unself-aware? And they're just working off of impulses? Just like the same gambler at a casino, they're just like...
I think so.
It has to be just like people who just are so unself-aware.
I remember the guy, he was complaining. He was like, man, I gotta get my kid some cereal. Like, he was like complaining. He was mad that he had to hang out with his son. His little kid. It's crazy.
Dude, the baby daddy stuff never makes sense to me. Dude, there are so many guys out there that just like are with horrible, like they just make horrible decisions. Whether the woman's bad or he's bad or whatever, but like they're just having kids with people that just like, it's like, guys. Like, you're just screwing your own life up so bad.
Yeah.
Like, you are just making your life miserable. And then you're like, oh, I'll try it again or whatever. And then you have another kid with another girl and it doesn't work out. So it's like, now you got 2 baby mamas and then it's like...
You're doing it over and over and over again.
And it's a cycle. And they're just, like, screwing it up like a constantly.
Imagine the child support.
Oh, my God, dude. The payments. But also, it's not even that. It's just, like, the amount of time where it's like, dude, you got to drive to this house to go spend your time with this kid and then go to this kid. Because I'm sure they love their kid. I'm sure... It's hard. It's biologically hotwired in your head to love your kids. So, like, I'm sure they're like, oh, I can't wait. Like, they want to see their kids or whatever. Some of them, at least. Not Nasty Nick or whatever.
Yeah,
but,
he didn't like his kids.
But, like, the amount of, like, time that it would take to be like, oh, son of a gun, now I gotta, like... The inconvenience
it is, yeah.
of jumping house. And also just, like, not, like, being able to be like, oh, I'm gonna take my kid to the baseball game. You gotta, like, work out, like, I only have my kid on weekends.
Yeah.
I only, like 2 days a week or whatever. It's like,
it's gotta be a miserable life.
I couldn't. I would hate it. There's a few. There's a lot of like people. Some people have like that I talk to. Like one guy's a babe, but I don't think they all have kids or whatever. But they're also with the same woman. It sounds like. Like I'm trying to think of somebody in my life that I talk to that like it has a child that doesn't get along with the girl, and I cannot think of anybody. I cannot.
Really?
Yeah, I'm trying so hard, and I cannot think about it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Maybe it's just because I'm unaware of their lives or whatever. A lot of the guys that I talk to are actually like the cucks or whatever. It's like, not to use that word or whatever.
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
They get with women, marry women that like already have kids with another guy.
Does that make them a cuck?
I just say that. I just think it's funny. I love that word. But you think like that must be such a weird experience, like raising somebody else's kids, but you also like they're not your kids, but you're also spending more time with them than the real dad.
I don't think I'd be able to do that. It'd be weird for me because they're not my own.
Yeah.
I wouldn't get involved in that situation.
No, yeah, I don't think I could do that either. I feel like that would just be a rough. Like I'd be like, oh my god, the headache. This is good. And then it's like, oh, if you don't like the guy too, and then it becomes like another like. Exactly. And then you also have to come to terms with like, oh yeah, this guy just went to Pound Town with my girl, and we're just chill, you know. I hand off the kids to him and
dap them up.
Yeah, like, oh, have a good day. You know, have fun, kids. Like,
I part of me wants to be like, you know, that's commendable.
Uh-huh.
You know,
it really is. Like,
but then the other part of me is like, come on, what are you doing?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I also can be like, all right, if you love the woman so much and you're willing to do all that, like, I gotta be, you know, like, I'm not gonna be like, you're an idiot or whatever. I'm like, dude, enjoy your life, have at it.
That's
like,
true.
Like,
do you?
Like, if you like that, you like those kids, have fun, you know, like, whatever. It's just another like hiccup, I guess, of just like, oh, that's annoying. But
do you think if you adopted a kid, do you think you would be able to create that?
Yes. Yes,
really
depending how old they are, for sure, yeah. I actually always thought about doing this or whatever. If I ever had this would probably be weird or whatever, people would probably look at me strange, but I would love it. But I would love to adopt like a child that isn't white. And then just raise, like, cause then...
What's the reason?
Well, I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. I just imagine that, like, I think it's more of just, like, being an anti, like, you know, like, most people would adopt a kid that reminds them of themselves, or, like, you know, they would think, like, oh, like
something they see in them.
Yeah,
or,
see
like, themselves in them.
Yeah, or, like, I also, like, love the idea of, like, going out in public and being like, oh, like, this guy, or, like, imagine, like, you're with your also white girlfriend, and then you have this like little black kid, or like, you know, or little Indian, and then they're just like, what is that family dynamic? Did she cheat? Did he, like, what is that hit? Like, you know, like, when it would just like confuse people, where they would be like, but then the kid is just having a good time and loving his life and just has a better life than he would have, like, but it doesn't even matter about the color. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be a fun like thing to do, like mess with like racist people's brains, or also just like people like trying to be like, oh, what is going on there? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not.
Yeah, but you know what's funny though? I feel like some people would hear what you just said and think that in it of itself is racist, because I've heard this like white savior argument kind of situation. You've heard that before?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're like extracting a non-white person into a better life because you're white. Like, I've heard some weird arguments from.
So you don't want people to adopt kids?
That's kind of what they're saying. Right? It's like, leave them.
Yeah. Oh, you're
Stick
not
to your race.
But also, how racist is it though to be like, I don't want that one. That color is a no. Like, it's like
that's crazy. Like, do you have another color?
Yeah.
This one's got a lot of miles on it. Crazy.
Yeah, I think it's so easily to like dismantle that argument of that being racist, to like adopt a kid that isn't your own race, because it's just like,
yeah.
So you're just against kids having good lives. Like who cares if the person's color? Like, if he's gonna be happy, let him be happy wherever. Like,
right.
Give him all the opportunity to be successful and enjoy life. Like,
what is the oldest age? Like, what's the oldest you would adopt?
I don't know. That's a hard question. I would love to go like if I did it or whatever. I think it would be fun to go through the experience of being like, well, you're not my kid. Like, so old enough to not know, like, that they were from a different family. I think because it would give you the best odds of like getting a connection with, you know what I'm saying? Like, being like, you are like you know nothing else.
Right, like, I'm gonna
like, you don't remember like, right. And it's not like it's like I'm gonna indoctrinate you into, no, it's like it's
no,
like
you want them to,
you want the connection of being like, you are my son whether you think it or not.
Yeah.
You know, like not that you think it or not. Like, what I mean by that is like, that is all you, like, it's like, oh, like, he took that place, she took that place of being like.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. Like, as opposed to someone who had,
like, if you get a 14-year-old, that's a hard one. That's a hard, because then it's
then
like,
you gotta reform their shit habits that are like,
they could have bad, they could have bad habits or have good memories of their dads and moms and in different.
Yeah, they're in a shitty situation.
Yeah, exactly, and then and figure out like.
It's also harder to create a bond with a kid that's older.
Because then he's probably gonna like, or she would probably want to rebel in the sense of like, oh, you're not my real, you know, like,
right.
Just like a step kid would.
And then you're only, say, 14. It's like 4 years and then they're an adult.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe like another 4 years after that, they move out. 8 years, you're with a kid. It's like, it's weird. I don't know.
I hate to cut the argument. I
No,
hate to
it's
cut
okay.
the
I
conversation
can
off
tell.
early or whatever. I am going to my brother's, so I'm
Okay.
gonna show my puppy. But thank you for
Thank you.
coming, sir.
This is real.